All right, CJ Snow Cones. Really like how your logo is abstract, so that your snow cone isn't. It's not all there. We see just the shapes. There's a little bit of confusion when I first read this. I saw the number seven, kind of a backward seven, and an S and an apostrophe, and uh, that made this kind of complicated for me. And I wondered if there's something we could do to simplify it. Um, Also, this big text is uh, seems like it's the least interesting, I guess you could say. Whereas this text that's really small, you don't even get to see some of the details. So I wondered if we traded places with those. So I just made a copy of your logo and I brought it over to the side, and then I traded the, the snow cone font for the CJ font, and I tried it in uppercase. I tried it in lowercase. I also added a little bit of extra space between the letters because they seemed really close together to me. Um, then I took this line, and at first I just tried to round the corners of it to see if that would help. But to me, it seems like that line was just kind of separating the the graphic on the top with the snow cones from the snow cones on the bottom. So eventually, I just decided to get rid of that. Also wanted to experiment with your snow cone. The shape didn't seem quite right. I wondered if I rounded the top, if that would help it seem more snow cone-ish. Um, Again, I got rid of the CJ, changed it into the other font. Um, then I totally got rid of the cone because I needed some contrast. Everything was just kind of thin lines. So I wanted to make a big shape. So I used the snow cone cup, put the CG on top of it, moved it around a little bit, really experimented with that. I rounded the corners of the cone so that they weren't sharp and dangerous looking, at least the bottom point. Then I did the side points as well. It still looks a little bit evil to me. Um, did a little bit of playing with the sizes and the placement. I really like the straw, but I want to make sure that your logo doesn't rely on color. So um, I changed everything to black and white uh, to see. And then I decided, what if the snow cones was the straw, or in place of the straw? And then this shape. Let's see, the snow cone shape. I I think it's a little bit hard to tell that it's a snow cone shape because typically, at least my experience is that the top of a snow cone is round. So I made a round shape. I put an effect on it called roughen, and you can find that up in the effects menu in Illustrator. And then I just beefed up the weight of the stroke, experimented with the size and the placement of the snow cones. Um, Not totally happy with this still, but it does seem like it's in a place where there's more contrast. So I've got something that's the most important part maybe is the CJ. Snow cones is also important, but I couldn't really find a place down here to place that. So I thought this straw was a good idea. You can always put color back in this. I don't necessarily want you to copy this idea, but use the principles. Make sure that things are all working together as one. That there's a clarity and a simplicity that makes it easily and quickly recognizable. And hope that helps.